Hello and welcome to C1 Insider, your resource from Creative One for staying up to date on the latest tax, legal, and regulatory changes that could affect you, your practice, and your clients. Today I'm joined by Andrew Payne, Chief Legal Counsel here at Creative One, also Government and Legal Affairs Committee Chairman for NAFA. Andrew, great to have you here.
Great to be here, Dennis.
All right, so what brings us together here before the end of the year is the Secure Act. What's going on?
Well, Christmas came a little bit early for us in the retirement space. Congress and the President signed into a bill last week, December 20th, called the Secure Act, and it's the biggest change to the retirement system in decades. There's a lot of small different things, but they have a big impact.
All right, first question right off the bat. This has been talked about for a long time, and no one expected it to happen. Why did it just all of a sudden happen?
We thought it would happen eventually. We just didn't think it would happen so quickly. We've been working on this, for several years. Creative One, including myself, has been up in D.C. lobbying on behalf of this effort. It was called a different name at one point, but the core of it, we were in support of these core provisions. And we've been up in D.C., talking to legislators and talking to our representatives and senators, saying this is something we need. And finally, last week, we got word that it was attached to the spending bill, and it went into law last Friday, signed by the President. So we're very excited about it.
Okay, so a lot to unpack here. So let's dive in with what I think are some of the big immediate impact issues. The first one, the retired minimum distribution age goes to 72. What's happening?
Right, so it used to be 70 and a half, which is a weird kind of, do you remember your half birthday and when does it go into place? This makes it a lot cleaner, moves it to 72, so your RMDs start at 72 instead of 70 and a half. People are living longer, people are working longer. It's going to be a lot better for folks looking to plan, and gives them a little bit more flexibility to use that money.
So a couple key things there for anyone working with retirees. One, you've got some different considerations now as far as where you're going to be pulling retirement funds when it's time to actually take some of the money out. And then the ability to work longer and ability to put in. And that goes into effect when? January 1st, 2020. January 1st, 2020, so definitely meet with clients. Second impact, the stretch IRA, some changes there.
Right, so this act eliminates the stretch IRA as it's currently situated. So right now, before the law goes into effect on January 1st, you can leave your IRA to someone and they can take those distributions over the course of their lifetime. That is no longer true under the new law. You can leave your IRA to someone other than your spouse, and they have to take those distributions within 10 years. So as a planning tool, that's a lot more limited for the folks trying to leave money to their heirs.
Does that affect if somebody passed away before the end of the year and they had that set up and they're planning to stretch it out over a beneficiary's life? If they passed away, does that negate what they had planned?
If it's before the end of the year, no. But after, you need to have a new type of plan. You need to look to see who your beneficiaries are and see if the stretch still works for you post January 1st. There may be some opportunities to do some things differently to help your clients a little bit better.
Okay, there's a lot there. So just to reiterate, so before you could stretch, if you passed away, you could stretch that IRA out over the lifetime of a beneficiary. But now with a couple exceptions, it's down to a 10-year window.
That's right.
Okay, well, that's a pretty big change. So anybody who's done any kind of planning needs to go out and re-meet and look at beneficiaries and really re-up the plan.
That's right.
Okay, so from there we go to 401k.
Right, and I think that this is the biggest thing for the folks that we work with here at Creative One, and maybe biggest opportunity is that under the new law, 401ks can adopt annuities and allow for annuities within their plan a lot easier. I think currently, it's in the single digits, the amount of 401k plans that give you lifetime income options or give you annuities. This removes any barriers to that and allows plan administrators and 401ks to choose a lifetime income provider, to choose annuities, to give those options to their clients.
So that to bring that back, there's still a lot to unpack there that has to be fleshed out as far as what the initial rules are.
Right, and we'll see how this all works out with how the law plays out and how the regulations that come with it play out and how carriers and insurance companies interact with it. But it's a very significant move in this area. One thing that did change in the law, something that people have thought about, is if you do have an annuity inside your 401k and with your current employer and you move to a new employer, you're going going to be allowed to take that annuity to the new employer's plan without having a tax treatment on it and without taking the surrender charges. So that is being provided for in this. We'll see how that really plays out in the nuances of it, but you will be able to keep that option.
It sounds like you and I are going to have a couple more videos like this to really dive into that, because there's a lot of gray kind of sitting out there right now.
A lot of gray, but it's going all in the right direction. These are great things for people who need lifetime income options.
Now, being legislation, so we talked about 3 things. There's got to be more in there. Any other key things, any other big things that you think are worth mentioning at this time?
Right, there's a lot of things that we're looking into that we see opportunity in for our clients, and that's probably the biggest one, other than what we've talked about, is multi-employer plan 401ks. And this is where multiple employers can come together and form one 401k amongst themselves and offer that to their employees.
That's interesting.
This wasn't much of an option for folks prior to this law. They didn't really do it, but this removes those barriers, removes that additional liability that they take on. And so those smaller employers that haven't offered a retirement benefit are going to be able to do that a lot easier now. And we see that as a huge way forward and a big opportunity for folks to get those benefits. Beyond that, similarly, part-time employees are now eligible for 401k benefits. So that's something that is going to be big in that space.
Opens up retirement plans to a lot of folks who didn't have it before.
Absolutely.
And then 529s, I thought there's something there too.
There's some changes to 529 rules where you can use your 529 money for childbirth purposes and for paying back student loans and a couple other issues, but an expansion of the use of that money.
So I think to wrap up and sum up today's video, I think a couple key things are first and foremost that the retired minimum distribution age, the required minimum distribution age, always a tough one to say. The RMD gets pushed out to 72.
Right.
And that goes into effect January 1st.
Right.
So for a lot of folks that are meeting with clients heading into this next tax season, that is an immediate impact. The stretch IRA as we know it, totally transformed as of January 1st.
Right.
And then for annuities into 401ks, that's going to be a big change as well.
It'll be a big change, maybe not January 1st, but going down the line, it's going to be a big opportunity for folks.
Door is opened.
Absolutely.
All right, Andrew, definitely lots more conversations for us to have about the Secure Act, and that's going to do it for our time. So what I would recommend to you is this. Make sure to tune in to C1 Insider, your resource from Creative One, for staying up to date on the latest tax, legal, and regulatory changes that could affect you, your practice, and your clients. We'll see you later.